Okay, well, it's day 2 of our annual network meeting, and our first speaker, Keneen Reese, is going to talk to us about Data.census.gov and some of the updates that have occurred with this data extraction tool over the last year. Keneen is branch chief for the dissemination outreach branch for the Center of Enterprise Dissemination. She'll be doing this presentation. She's pulling double duty today. She'll also be doing a presentation later on the Census Bureau's microdata extraction tool, also known as MDAT. Jane?
All right, thank you, Len. I really appreciate it. I always enjoy coming to the New Jersey meetings because y'all always have such great questions and a lot of engagement. And I know that we've talked about Data.census.gov for quite a bit. And so I'm going to give you some updates. We have in 2024, we've actually done some pretty significant updates. And as a data user myself, that I've really liked. And so I want to show you those. And then towards the end, we'll do a demo of some of our recent 2020 census products, kind of showing you how to, and followed up with any questions that you might have. So I'm actually going to go off camera to hopefully keep my internet from wobbling, but I'll be back with the question and answer. So let me do that. And let me share my slide deck. All right, okay. So I'll be going back and forth from the demo to the slide deck. So please apologize that it's not being shown in the full screen, but hopefully you can still see it. Okay, so there we go. All right. So a few things we talked about. Just going to talk about latest updates, talk about a little bit of what the enhancements are, what's future enhancements, give you a live demo, and then talk about where you can get resources when you've forgotten everything I've said and want to know what to do next. So latest updates. First off, the address search. This was a huge change for data users from American Fact Finder. This was one of the big things that people used regularly, and Data.census.gov did not have it. I'm going to show you actually how to use it and where it is. It's hidden. I've put in a request for something a little bit more flashy so people can find it. But it's this tiny little pin drop on Data.census.gov's landing page on the single search bar. If you click on this, it gives you the ability to do an address. Now you can put in a street address, city and state, or the address and the zip code to get it back. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put the Census Bureau's address in Suitland and then Maryland. And then I do a search. And this is what comes back. So it gives you some of the top geographies so that you can now know where the zip code is, but you can also know some of the things no one ever really knows. No one knows your blocks, and no one knows what your census tracts are. And in some cases, people are looking for other things like state legislative district or school district, but all these are available. And the nice thing is that they're hyperlinked, so you can click on this 20746 and it takes you to some tables that are associated with that zip code. So you can kind of start data mining from there and drilling down. So that's our address search. Definitely a big improvement. The next thing we have site and API buttons that were added to our table display. So let me show you what that looks like. So in fact, I can use this table right here. I'm going to shut some of these so you can see it a little bit better. I'll actually put on a table that has a little bit more information. I'm going to shut those. So the site button, if you go down to more tools, and it gives you all these options. So you have options to transpose or to send something to an Excel or even a zip, which is that machine readable download. We also have the site button with little quotations, and you click on this and it allows you, gives you already pre-formulated MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, and some other ones. So you just cut and paste that into your documentation. And it's definitely not what everybody needs, but there's certainly been plenty of people who have asked for it. So I'm glad we now have this available. One other thing is people are using Data.census.gov, but people also use the Census Data API, and they're on a table, and maybe you would like to create this in a dashboard or something that you would need to use the API. So we've allowed you to have those links too. So if you scroll down, there's an API, looks like a little cog, and you click on that and it gives you the data link and then the metadata link. I'm going to choose the data link and then I'm going to show you that it pulls up. It gives the information for this table, and you scroll down and you'll get the estimates from there. There we go. So nice addition that's been added. All right, we have improved download output, and let me just actually show you with the slide what that means. With especially things like ACS data, we have annotations. Those are for things that like jam values or something that's added. Most of the time we don't have annotations, so everybody when they do a download will see a number and then they'll see a null. So we've taken these columns out because it was just confusing people to not have that lots of questions about what null meant, but we remove them if it's just coming back as null. Profiles and apps tab. Let me show you what that is. This is, go back to the all results page. You can see all of these tabs. So you have tables and maps and pages, like web pages. We've added a profile page. So we're looking at the zip code and it shows you the profile of the zip code, but then it also gives you some surrounding information and areas. So if we were doing something like poverty in Trenton, New Jersey, and we came back, we can go to the profile page. Even though you do have the profile option on the right-hand side, it now has a profile page where we're trying to just connect people a little bit more so that you can do a little bit more data drilling and data mining. And then you can click on the profile and go from there. The other one was the apps tab. And let me show you what that one was. This one's actually on this far right-hand side. When you look on, it used to say just microdata, and that's where our microdata MDAT microdata access was available. If you click on this, and it's finally come up, I'm sorry, it's so slow. If you click on apps, it takes you to two sites now. Now on the left-hand side, you have microdata access, and then you click that to have to jump into MDAT. Or you can click on, this is our population pyramid. It's our first of our new apps that we've come for more visualizations. We'll bring this up in a little bit too, but this just allows for more apps to be created and added, and for kind of a category to be able to find things a little bit easier. All right. The next one is the filter panel redesign. I'm actually just going to show you the slides for it. It's not super obvious, but it's just not huge changes that you'd really be able to see, but just a few things that have made it just a little bit more easier to navigate through the site, making it in order for something to be populated, you have to click on a checkbox. And this is just trying to make it a little bit easier for people to understand the connection between the filter and the checkboxes that they need to actually click on this educational attainment there. Also, once you've clicked on educational attainment, it then drops the things that aren't available. So we used to have, you would still see something like business and economy, but then when you pressed it or clicked on it, you would see that nothing was there and it led to more dead ends. So that's what this is trying to do, is trying to limit as many dead ends as possible, and kind of shoring it up a little bit. All right. So the next one, improve maps. Let me show you this in real time or live, I guess. So if I'm going to look for income, all counties in New Jersey. And I'm going to give it a minute to come up. And once it does, then there's a maps tab. So I'm going to click over the maps. Okay, and it's a selection map right now, more than a thematic, until we click on a table. So if I click on a table, you'll be able to see the data for all counties in New Jersey. So a few things that we've added, though. I'm going to click on this so it's hopefully a little bit bigger for you. The drop down. So the variable selection is a little improved. So when you're looking at something like a subject table that has estimates and that it also has percentages, we have where you can choose whether you want the count or the percentage. And if you do that, then it grays out things that aren't available and only gives you the things that are. Just helps you to kind of understand it a little better. Also allows for, in some tables, allows for, a different table, allows for just more inventions, more kind of understanding of the data a little bit better when you're looking through. So here's some indentions that you can see, and just kind of makes you understand the content a little bit better. Also allowing for dimensions. In some cases, not for this table, but in other cases, there's different subheadings that you can kind of whittle it down by choosing those or not, whichever you'd like to do. One other thing too is that we used to have just a selection of just this square box, but we've added a circle and then also a lasso. So let me show you actually what that does. So the circle, you can pull the circle here and it's anything that the circle touches has been added. Or with the lasso, which is my personal favorite, you can just, whatever you touch going down. So it's nice. It doesn't have to be some very specific square or anything like that. That helps. We also have an option if that we're trying to make the maps very similar to the tables, and the fact that it has this toolbar at the top, although they're a little bit different options up here, but we do try to have consistency. You now have a print option, so you can print the map, which is a big request that people have had. And you also have an option for the GeoJSON button. And I'm so sorry it's slow. I don't know if it's the site or if it's just me on my end. But we'll wait for that to come up in a second. If not, we'll just move on. Here we go. So it's a nice qualified map with your notes involved as well as the map itself. So that's definitely a nice addition. And then the GeoJSON can be added and it's downloaded here. And then you can use that for any of your mapping needs. And then finally, you can go in and edit this title if you'd like to. And also the map, or this is the legend is removable and collapsible and movable. So it helps. I feel like sometimes it just lands right exactly where you are. So you can put it out to sea so it doesn't get in your way. And of course, you can use the zoom in and zoom out to make things a little bit easier. All right, that is the maps. Let me go, oops, here's some screenshots for you. The ACS data set message on top of the table and map. So let me explain what that is. We go to a table. Actually, we need just to put in common Jersey. We take something from just a basic search like New Jersey or a topic with New Jersey, something really big. Then we return and it gives you a 1-year table because we're looking at New Jersey and we don't want to show you a 5-year table because there's definitely, the 1 year is more timely information for something as large as New Jersey. However, when people would go in, they would maybe go in and do all counties in New Jersey from here, but then you don't receive everything because you're in the 1 year. And this note is trying to help people because they would download and they'd say, I'm missing things, or I can't find this this county or something like that. So we're trying to put in a message that just says that this is only for 65,000 or higher or more, and if not, you need to go to the 5-year. We've done some testing with our usability testing. Everyone has missed the note. We've tested 20 people. 20 people missed the note. So we're still going to have some feedback and see where it is with that. But at least we're trying. We're trying to make it a little bit easier for people. All right. The next one. Download table and the profile and map. This is not just the map that I just showed you, but if you look at the profile, you can go down to a table in one of their small charts. If this thing comes up, and I'm sorry it's so slow, you'll be able to download the small tables that are associated with these. So if you go to Ancestry right here, and it says Show Table, you can see the table view and not just of the chart. So it's not the full table; it's just this small one. But now you can download this small table if that's of an interest. And then the same thing when you're going to maps. When you're looking at a map, of course, this is just a map of New Jersey, so it's only one thing. But if you were going to download that, you could go down and or make this into a table, very small 1-line table, and then you can download this specific table. And then there's a note right here that you can go to the full table, which is taking you back to again, that 1-line table, not the best table for me to show you, but it takes you back to the main table, and then you would use these to print that table. All right. All right, just a couple more. So we have the Pop Pyramid app. This is what we showed you just a minute ago. If we go to apps, go to population pyramid. This was kind of our first foray into apps where we're trying to kind of engage people using population pyramids and kind of some easier, more whimsical ways of playing with data and have people understand it, or try to get people to understand what this pyramid's supposed to show, and how it makes your community special for different ways. If you're looking at the basic distribution of the US, and then it kind of goes into families, and you see the different gosh, what am I trying to say? The different shapes of the different areas with young children or the military or college towns, and you see some real, really big outliers. So just trying to engage people in the data a little bit. And then the last one is another thing that I heard a lot about when we moved over from AFF is what we call our GeoInfo table, is the GOO1 table, if anyone used that before. But what that is our, let me get all of this out. It is our information on latitude and longitude and area and square miles, kind of the geographic information. So let me show you how to find it. So if you're looking for counties, let We'll do all counties in New Jersey, and then we'll find the table. The table's actually under a geography section under the surveys and programs tab. And when it pulls up, okay, so under surveys, there's one that says geography, and there's only one table. So if you click on this and then search for it, have the table come up. And I think I messed up somewhere. All right. Let me just do New Jersey for a second. And then pull up the table. And here you go. So you see the land area, the area of water, and then you get into latitude and longitude. This is a huge one that was missing when we moved over, like I said, from AFF, and definitely not for everybody, but the people that did use it were definitely missing it. So hopefully this hits the mark with some people. All right, so that's the end of my examples of the things that have happened in 2024. Upcoming enhancements, we really are working on not just additional visualizations, but really looking at the feedback that people have said of the new features that we've provided to people. We want to hear, is it hitting the mark? Do we need to adjust it, or how we're doing it, and how we can improve? So we're definitely looking at that. The second one is we're looking at the MDAT design updates. I'll talk a little bit more this afternoon when we go through an MDAT review, but we are updating the microdata access tool, but we're updating it for parity in the fact that they're two separate code bases. We are moving and rebuilding this that tool to be under our Data.census.gov code base. So very, very few changes, and we're looking to release by the end of the year. We hope that it'll be very seamless. There's a few things that are slightly different, but not so overwhelmingly different. We're hoping that it would cause you to really not understand how to use it from the old one. But we've been working pretty hard on getting this updated so we can get it out the door. But the presentation this afternoon will be showing the old one, but I'll definitely give you some sneak peeks. All right, so we've finished the updates portion, and so I wanted to just show you a few examples of some demos. The biggest two releases that we've had are the last two of the 2020 census, or the bigger of the last two 2020 census, as our detailed DHCB file, and that was released in August. And then we had the final, which is the supplemental DHC data. I'm going to focus on the detailed DHCB data because it definitely has an adaptive design to it based on for confidentiality issues, but then also it makes it a little more difficult to find it. We have some resources that'll help. And if we have time, which we may not, I can give you an example of the finding the supplemental DHC. If not, it'll be in your slide deck that you'll have. All right, so the first example, actually, before we go to an example, I'm going to give you just some basic information about the detailed DHCB. I think you probably have already heard some presentations on that, but we did release it in August. It's kind of a continuation of the detailed DHCB file, but with different subjects. The groups are still the approximately 1,500 detailed groups for detailed race and ethnic groups, and then detailed American Indian and Alaska Native tribes and villages. On the right-hand side is the link to the press kit if you'd like more information about that. The subjects are for the file B are for household type. So you're getting family households and non-families, and then tenure. So whether your home is owned or rented. And the detail depends, this is that adaptive design, depends on the total population of the group as well as the geographic level. This one doesn't go to go down to blocks or anything. You do have limited geography, but you have nation, state, counties, census tracts, places, and then your AIANNH areas. So part of this adaptive design is that the population of the detailed population group, if it's between certain numbers of people against where it is in what geography it is what you're going to return. So for example, if you're just looking at New Jersey, the population needs to be, more than 470 if you want something beyond just the universe. And then it gives you the breakdown, all of the categories between 2, 6, or 8 categories for household type. And then for tenure between 3 categories or 3 categories. So different options that are available here, and you can kind of go back and look at the chart to figure out where things are. Because we have the option of so many different types of tables, when you pull something up, you'll see maybe 6 different tables, but maybe you'll only have 2 tables that are available for that geography. Or if you're looking for multiple geographies or multiple population groups, you'll have certain population groups or geographies in each one of these based on those criteria. So it makes it a little tricky. You have to, have your wits about you and pay attention. But we have lots of resources to help you with this. One last thing is that I'm going to show you how to access the data, always starting using the advanced search and choosing your year first and your survey first. The reason for this is that these population groups are redefined within each census. And so here's an example of the Navajo Nation alone is what's available for 2020. But you also, if you do not specify that and you are just looking at searching through race and ethnicity, going down through the population groups, you'll see Navajo Nation alone, and you'll also see Navajo alone. So you'll have to do a little hunting and pecking to figure it out. But if you know what survey you'd like, and if you're specific to 2020, you can find the data a little bit easier. All right, so my first example is using the detailed DHCB tables for the Singaporean alone or in any combination population in New Jersey. So I'm going to clean out my, I'm going to press this logo to kind of clear it and start it from scratch. I'm going to bypass the single search and I'm going to go to the advanced search. And then I'm going to do exactly what I just told you to do, that you want to choose the survey first and then you want to choose the year. So I'm going down to 2020. I'm going to select this and then I'll see that the surveys have already been filtered down to what's available for 2020. I'm going to go to decennial census. I'm going to see what's available and I'm going to scroll down to detailed demographic and housing characteristics file B. I'm going to click on this. And then I'm going to go up to geographies. I'm going to choose state, go to New Jersey. And then I'm going to go through my topics. And the topics is where the race and ethnicity data are. So if you click on this, I'm looking for Singaporean alone or in combination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on race and ethnicity. And then I'm going to go to Asian and click on this. And I want detailed Asian alone or in any combination. So I'm going to click on this, and this blue caret is telling me there's more information underneath it. And remember, we have to have a checkbox in order for it to get populated up here in our filter box. So from here, I'm going to choose Southeast Asian alone or in any combination. And I'm going to scroll down and find Singaporean alone or in any combination. I'm going to click the checkbox. And I see that it's been added to my filters. I've got New Jersey, I've got my survey, and I've got the year. So I'm going to go to the far bottom right and click on search. And then I see the tables that are available. There's 6 tables. I'm going to start with the first one. There's a feeling that it's a small population, and it is. It's 134 households with the householder of Singaporean alone or in combination. So this is just how you drill down. I'm going to give you another example of looking at searching multiple geographies. So I'm going to look at the Puerto Rican population of all census tracts in Essex County, New Jersey. So go in, slightly different. So I'm going to go in, clear everything out with my logo. I'm going to click on Advanced Search. Kind of do the same thing. I'm going to scroll down to the year. I'm going to choose 2020. Where is that? There we go. I'm going to choose my detailed DHCB file. And then I'm going to go in and choose my geography. I wanted to choose, it was all tracts in Essex County, correct? So let me scroll down to census tracts. And then I'm going to drill down to find it. I'm going to go down to New Jersey. I go to Essex County. And then I have all of these different counties that I can choose, but I also have this one-click option of all census tracts within Essex County. I'm going to choose that. It's our collections so that those return. And then I'm going to go back to race and ethnicity under topics and do similar to what I did before. So choose race and ethnicity. For this case, I'm looking for Puerto Rican population. So I'm going to go to Hispanic or Latino. Then I'm going to go detailed Hispanic or Latino, Caribbean Hispanic. And then I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom for Puerto Rican. And click on this. I see that it's been added, as well as my tracks, my table, and my data set and my year, and I'm going to click search. And the tables come back. And I'm going to look at what's available. So with this case, because I'm looking at more than one geography, we're probably going to have a few tables available. So if I look at household type, I'm going to shut this so you can see it a little bit better. So it starts with track 2 is available, and you see the tiny little slider down here, and you can go across and see. This is also a great opportunity if you have these one-line tables with a lot of different geographies to go to more tools, and you can transpose it just so that you can see it a little bit better if you're going vertically, however you want to do it though. You can also look at the 2 category tables that are available. And that's if those tracks have a little bit more of a larger population in them. Give it 1 second to load. And there we go. We can scroll down. You see there's fewer, but there are things that are available. And in this, it gives us beyond the universe, but it gives us family households and non-family households for those specific census tracts within Essex County. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clear and show you my last example. Here we go. Is selecting multiple population groups. So I'm going to look at all available Black or African American alone or in any combination groups within Bergen County, New Jersey. So let me go back in and do kind of the same thing that I've been doing. So advanced search. I'm going to scroll down, excuse me, to my year again. I'm going to do 2020. And then I'm going to go up to decennial census, same thing. I'm going to choose file B. And now I'm going to just choose my county because we just wanted that one county. New Jersey, Bergen County. And then I'm going to go to race and ethnicity for my topic. And I'm going to choose Black or African American. And then I'm going to look at detailed Black or African American alone or in any combination. And then I'm going to choose all available detailed Black or African American alone or in combination. So I want to include Caribbean alone and Sub-Saharan as well as other Black or African American alone or in combination. Those subcategories, so I'm going to choose that so that those are included. And I look that my filters have been added and I'm going to go ahead and search. And then I see my tables return. You can even go and choose main first table, but then we can also see what's available in some of the larger tables, the 2-line tables that are available, and then see if we could even get a 6-line table. I'm not sure if anything will be there. Yep. So we have Jamaican alone are available for Bergen County. Because of the larger population that's available. But you will have to kind of toggle between these to be able to get all of the information. You can go in and go to the more tools, and you can send these to an Excel or CSV so that you can have, you can look at the table a little bit easier. You look at the data. It's just an easier way of seeing the data. If you need to save it or send it somewhere, or even in many cases, people print it out, that it could be a little bit better of an option than our current print feature. Then if you are looking for something where you wanted to send it in more machine readable, you would click on the zip button and you would do a zip download. If you wanted all of them, you'd have to do each table. So just know that. But it's preparing your file, and then you'll be able to have one that can be machine readable. And I'll show you that real quick. Oops, I think I opened the wrong one up. Hold on one second. Yep, let me open the data one, and then you can see that. Here we go. So then the data that gives you the GeoID name, the geographic area name, and then it gives you the estimate, and then it gives you the population group, and then that pop group label there. All right. Okay, I know we're hitting close to the end. I'm going to show you really quickly what the last one is, and then just really quickly to just find the data, just to show you really quickly the supplemental geographic, demographic, and housing characteristics file. It's called the SDHC. It provides counts of people and children and households and average household size by certain characteristics. It's only available in the nation and state. And here are the subjects. It's kind of very specific to some household and house and tenure that's available. And I can show you an example really quickly of how to find that data. You look at, sorry, my mouse is having trouble. Here we go. Just looking at the PH2 table, household type for the population of households in New Jersey. you would clear everything, go to advanced search. Very similar. We would go forward and do 2020, choose the survey, decennial census, and then at the bottom, there's supplemental demographic and housing characteristics file that's available. I'm just going to choose New Jersey. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at housing. So I'm just going to choose the topic of housing. So it has over 60 tables. So it just helps a little bit to be able to see. And then I'm going to search, and you see the PH2 table that's available. And then from here, it shows more detailed breakdown of household type for the population and households. So very high level data, but if people are interested in it, this is how you can find it. And I can drop where there's additional information for people to find. Here's the press kit right here. All right, so the last but not least, I just want to show you our resources page. If you have questions, this is how you get to it. You go to our main Data.census.gov site. There's a help button right under the single search, and this takes you to our resources page where we provide all kinds of guidance, tutorials. Here's our latest that we dropped today of exploring the address search, all kinds of other things from the API to MDAT, our webinars, and even our newsletters, and how you access the data. Under the releases, the information from the latest updates so that you can follow along if you're interested in knowing what's the latest and greatest and what's available. We kind of put this out so people have some ideas of where they are with that. And then last, we have for data users, email updates. If you're interested in being part of our newsletter, here's the link to sign up for those. And we send those once a month and give you the latest and greatest or our latest releases, anything that's going on in Data.census.gov, the API and MDAT world. And then I'll just leave you here with our resources page, how to stay connected with us. And then I'll throw it back to Lynn, see if there's any questions.
Okay, we have some questions and comments in the chat.
Okay.
First up, we have a comment that the APIs are most appreciated.
Oh,
And
great.
we have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Okay.
I was just saying great. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, and we have a question. Does the addition of address search mean that services that use the census API would potentially be able to provide address level data? I know you can't speak on behalf of third-party companies, but curious if there's anything you could say about that.
No, I don't. I don't know what I can say about that, if anything, but I'll definitely take it back and see if there's anything that we can provide. I don't, having address level data is just not something the Census Bureau does. But a third party, yeah, I'm not sure either.
Okay. Is there a way to choose multiple tables with the same set of filters?
You would have to do them one by one. So it provides you all of the tables that are available, but you couldn't see both tables at one time. You'd have to choose them individually. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We have another question. Is there a Data.census.gov to save a set of multiple geographies? I'm constantly having to go into the geography search and pick the same 13 New Jersey counties. Being able to create my own custom geography or even having a string that I can copy and paste into the address bar that would work regardless of my table would really help.
So we don't have anything like a locker or anything like that, and we definitely can't create a custom geography, combining your 13. But once you choose your 13, you can cut and paste the URL because the URL will include your geographies. And then from there, you can always go back to that one table and then adjust it from there. Or you could you can adjust the URL. Does that make sense? I can give an example if that works.
Sure.
Okay, let me.
We have time.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen real quick. So I'm going to look at DPO5. And then from here, I'm going to go in for counties. And I'm going to go to New Jersey, and I'm just going to choose the selection of the first counties that come up. And so you see they've been added, and you can see most importantly up here in the URL they've been added. So what happens is you can go ahead and cut and copy and paste, and it brings you back up to that table. But if you want other tables, you can go in and edit the tables from up here in the URL. You could also take off the table completely, and if you wanted to just keep those geographies, save the URL that you can add. So sorry, I cleared it out when I shouldn't have. Go down to New Jersey, choose several things again, and then you can do a search. And your geographies will be there, and then you just cut and paste this. So this URL is your URL. And when you go back to it, you go back to it after you've cut and pasted, you could go to the filter and do one of two things. You can go to the filter and do your topic and choose what topic you wanted, if you wanted an education table or something, and go from there. Or if you then knew your table ID, you could type it in from there and access it that way. But that's one way. At least you would get your 13 counties that you were interested in, and it would always have it, and then you could play with it back and forth that way. Does that make sense? And this is kind of editing the URL, where you can just change DPO5 to DPO3 if you wanted to. Are there any other, is there any other questions?
Yeah, I have a comment here. I'm not sure if this is for you or if this was for some of the messages that we dropped.
Okay.
Can you please highlight the data message again? I'm not sure at what point in the presentation you are, if this is applying to the presentation. Would the person who put this question in unmute yourself and maybe let us know what the reference is here?
Actually, it was, this is Vijay Sri Rao. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. My name is Vijay Sri Rao, and I just wanted to, for you to look at the data set message slide again, please, if there's time.
ACS message, that 1 year, 5 year message.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull that up really quickly. Hold on 1 second.
Where would we look at data set messages? Like you said, you had.
Yes. Okay. So you could find that over here under notes. If you're on the table, just go to the notes.
Okay.
And this is all the notes that are associated with that table.
I see. All right. Okay, I kind of missed that. So it's under
Yeah,
notes. All right.
it's under notes. No, I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. I missed that.
No, it's okay.
Okay, it's
Uh,
not you, it's me.
Thank you
So
so much. I really
You're,
appreciate this.
it's a
you're
good
welcome.
question. Good question.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Do you have zip code level data?
We do. If you go to the filters and you scroll down, it'll say zip code tabulation area, and that is kind of the census equivalent to zip code data. If you go down to New Jersey, you can choose your zip code from here or choose all of the zip codes. But that will give you now. Not every data set has zip code available data, but you will be able to get something that'll come back and available.
Okay, another comment. A lock on filters would be much appreciated.
So it's funny because it's half and half. Some people loved the locked filters, but then other people will say it's locked and we can't do anything. Like we can't edit anything. You have to start over. So when you put in a table ID, you do end up have it locked. So if you looked right here, there's a tiny lock for DPO5 because I stuck it in this here, but the rest have X's so that you could take out these geographies. But it's a good point, and I'll definitely take that back. I appreciate it. There's it's hard to hit the mark for everyone, but I do understand why you would like a lock feature, especially if you're going back to the same thing every time.
Yes, if I may, that was me again, Vijayashree. I just wanted to, yeah, that would help greatly if you're looking at multiple tables with the same set of filters, which was my previous question.
Okay, well, I do suggest that you would just cut and paste that URL and keep your
Yeah,
URL. I think that'll help you a ton.
no,
Um,
that was really appreciated too. Now
okay,
that we
good.
have a solution for that, a quick solution. It's
Okay,
just
good.
when we are looking curating data, it would be great if the filters were locked. But let's see. I will do what you showed with the URL. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you create custom tables to download to use on your GIS?
I don't believe so. I'm not sure. No, I don't believe we can. I'll definitely take that back and ask to make sure I understand it, but I don't believe so.
Okay. We have a comment. We seem to have lost your screen share. I see your screen.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not sure where the issue may lie, but I see your screen changing and your share just fine.
Okay. I'll send the slide deck that has the individual slides, so
Yeah.
that'll help if you missed anything. I apologize
Okay.
if you did.
Okay. So it looks like I can just bookmark the advanced search with just my counties. And then I can just pull up that bookmark and further refine my search as needed. That's
Yes.
great. Thanks so much.
Yes. Oh,
So we
good,
have a
good, good.
comment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to be able to do it, and then add whatever topics or tables, but you always have that base URL that you use if you always go back to the same geographies.
And then we have another comment. Thanks. That's great. And then another question. Is there a minimum population limit to be considered as a zip code in US Census?
From the I couldn't tell you geographically how they're created or put together. I do know that there are data for, depending on what survey you're looking at, there are data for all zip codes, like the American Community Survey and the Decennial Survey, and then some econ tables have, or econ data sets have there's like a zip code, business patterns have some zip code data.
Another comment, being able to toggle the lock on and off would be ideal.
Oh, I
So another,
agree with you. I really agree with you because I get stuck with those locks a lot too. And it would be nice to be able to say, just keep always keep these geographies or whatever you'd like to lock, and then be able to X out the topics or a table or something. I'll definitely bring that back as feedback. Not just because I agree with you, but I'll do it anyway. But I definitely agree.
um, well, we have a thank you and then a response from the person that was having difficulty with the screens, thanking us for addressing the issue. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, Kanan, thank you very much. We'll see you again in a little bit to talk about MDAT. I know a lot of people will be excited about that. We've used it for some things as well. And it's a great tool if you do not have a statistical package of software or to work with the microdata. It's a great facility, and it's very helpful. And again, there's constant improvements to that as well. So there'll be a presentation on that at 3:15.